Hi everyone. Sorry, I was on a meeting. Yo, Raquel. uh, what are you doing? Preparing yourself. All right.
Yeah, it's because I'm alone, so usually I don't use the headphones at all. I just use it loud. Um,
All right.
but the quality audio is not the same. Oh, now I cannot hear you. Just one moment because I'm sure it's because of my configuration. If not, I will enter. I'm gonna go out and enter again. Just a moment.
All right. I'm putting a message. Um, toot, toot, toot. All right. I just put a message as a reminder, and yeah, my reflex, like before each session, I remove all AI note taker because I don't like this. Yeah, so that's why a couple of DevSubback fellow were into the onboarding session with Eigenlayer as ambassadors. So that's why we are just on time. Yeah. Could you hear, hear us? I can hear you. Ah, yes, because you are mute.
Yes, I'm muted.
That's why. Okay. Who think is going in Argentina?
It's going good. I'm here with my mate. Now I'm a local.
Alright.
Um, but actually, I'm flying back on Thursday night
In
to Barcelona.
oh, all right. For something specific?
I have a wedding on the
Ah, yeah,
22nd.
yeah.
And actually, I'm very, very, very tempted to bring a pizza to the wedding
Why?
because, because it's pizza day.
Ah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
Very, very tempted. Yeah. If anyone don't know, like Pizza Day, it was like kind of 10 years ago. Someone bought a pizza with, I don't know, 1,000 bitcoins or something like that. And it's like, yeah, like ridiculous amount of Bitcoin. And it's like the first track of the real price of Bitcoin. So because of that, it's the Pizza Day.
Exactly happening every year. To remember this funny moments, in fact. And we didn't expect it that Bitcoin will go like this.
Yeah,
Mm. Yesterday, I saw that Coinbase is entering in the S&P 500. That is something really big. Even like OpenAI and so on are not in it, so uh, pretty
yeah.
nice. All right. So before starting, did you go through the ciphering courses to complete the first session yesterday? So it was until section 1, point 8 about array structs. So I think normally you go through it. But
Okay.
all right, I think you can start. People will join. Usually we are around 20, 30. A few chapter until 5 couldn't compete all right. So it's a great way to keep in track with whole session every time. So go through it. All right. let's go then.
Okay,
And
then I'm gonna start, as you are gonna see, actually the ones that have been capable to go through like the first session chapters, we are gonna continue building the same line. We are gonna finish session one, and we are gonna do also the storage factor that it's lesson two. And lesson two is also linked to lesson one, since we are using the simple storage contract that is the one we started building yesterday. Okay, I don't have a slide. Actually, I'm gonna build on Remix, and I'm gonna try to be explaining everything slowly, and also getting some errors in purpose. I'm gonna share everything, which is allowed since I have everything closed, thanks God. So, actually, what we are gonna do is what I was commenting. This actually is the GitHub from Learning Solidity, and here is the Solidity 101. Yesterday, you covered from until the arrays and the structs, and we are gonna start with compiler errors and warning, and also do the section 2. Okay, so we are using Remix right now. That it's a tool actually to write smart contracts, so you don't have to install everything, and it handles, like, it's gonna make our life easier, as yesterday was commented. So first of all, we are gonna learn a little bit about the errors. So here, if you can see, now I'm having like a notice that it's not gonna compile, and when I go here to compile lenses to errors, I'm getting an error. What is recommended? You could actually copy this error and ask, for example, here it's already copied, like ask any AI model or search for it, so you can have some information about why. And here, as you can see, it's saying like, I'm missing a semicolon. So, okay, I will check. And here I can see actually when where the error is being marked, that in fact I'm missing like the final semicolon. Okay, I try to compile again, and oh no, I'm having other errors, but first I'm gonna check the warning. If now it was only the warning and I wanted to compile, it's actually gonna compile. That is more like a best practice that is reminding me that I should follow. And what actually I'm missing is here, like SPDX license identifier is not provided in the source file. And in fact here I can see that in yellow I'm not specifying the license as we were doing here in the first lesson. So I'm gonna copy paste it and try to compile again. And voila, like the warning is gone. So now we am gonna jump into the memory, but I decided actually to do it with the errors, because I can notice that I'm having two errors. Okay, I'm having a type error data, that the location must be memory, and I'm using call data. And I'm having another error that I'm missing the memory given. Okay, before that, I'm gonna explain a little bit what are the memory types. So, as you know, in blockchain, we store the information in blocks. So you can have different types of memory. Here are like write and read memory types. That are all of them. Actually, no, I'm missing some, but that are the basic ones. I guess I deleted before. For now, we are only use memory, storage, and call data. That are the ones that actually are required for structs, arrays, and strings. Okay? So, why is that important? We are always talking about that in blockchain, to store information in a block, you are gonna consume some gas. This gas, actually, it's you are paying this gas to the validator to include that information in a block, and also represents the computational cost of that action in the blockchain. Why is this? It's important because actually, like read types of memory are not gonna consume gas. That means that it has no computational effort for the validator. Actually, no. Actually, it consumes some computational effort in the validators, what will be like the VM and the machine, like where everything is being processed, but we don't have to pay for it. That is going to make that to interact with some functions in our contract is going to be cheaper, and we are not need to pay any gas to actually interact with the blockchain, because we are just reading information from it that are memory and cold data. If we want to store information in the blockchain, that could be a transaction, could be deploy a contract, could be different actions, then we will be using storage. That it's also the default memory type that is used, like for example for variables. This will be like storage. That is going to consume some gas, and every action has a fixed amount of gas that is gonna get consumed. So if we check actually that, if you have gone through the lesson 1, you are going to see that it was a simple storage contract, and we could identify that, for example, this variable is going to get storage, while others, like here is a little bit different. Here that we want to add a person to an array, to a list, is telling me that, oh, that is the first error. Why? Because string, structs, and arrays, they require a memory type. So when you are giving an argument to that function, it needs to be specified what kind of memory type it's gonna use. And I could say like, okay, I'm gonna put storage. Again, it's complaining. As you can see, it's in red. And why is in red? It's in red because when I'm trying to compile, Solidity compiler is smart enough to see that, okay, that's an argument, that it's something that you are going to use one time, why you are going to store that information in the blockchain. So it's going to give you an error, likely, so it's going to ask memory. Here I have copy, like, okay, now I'm compiling, voila, now I'm having only one error. Why is that error? That error, it's actually here, memory. Why? Because as I said before, like the memory type needs to be given for strings. I know I'm repeating a lot, but it's just in case you're going to remember. It's going to be for strings, structs, and arrays. And I'm giving memory to something that actually is unsigned integer. In this case, I don't give anything. Okay, now I try to compile again. Oh, and I'm having one other error that I was not seeing before. And it's here. It's a cat. Why? Because actually I'm trying to reassign the value cat to the argument name. And we were talking that actually memory and cold data both are read memory types. So they are not going to consume any gas. Then what's the difference? Why we have two memory types that actually are for read? Well, if I see, and here I try to do the same, and I'm trying to reassign the argument name to cat and not the given argument to the function, it's not going to complain. And mainly that it's, I mean, there is like some different values, but that's the main difference. It's like cold data cannot be override, while memory can be reassigned. You can reassign the value to name because it's memory and not cold data. So cold data is immutable. Here we will need memory, then we won't have any error, or if we want to keep it as cold data, we will not be capable to reassign it. There is any question about that? I don't see the chat.
Are primitives types stored on stack in default, so we don't need to specify memory or cold data?
Strings?
Primitives type on stack, primitive stored on stack defaults, so we don't, I don't know.
Maybe I'm memory call data now here. Angela, give back. I'm trying to share memory and call data, the difference. Yes, memory and call data, the difference is that call data, it's immutable. You cannot change after the value given to the argument, while in memory, you can override that value. So here, as you can see, you have the argument name, and after you reassign a value to name that it's cat, while with call data, you cannot do that. No, not to string, like in, int, will, exactly, is what I was showing just a moment before, is that here it's a stack value, you cannot, you can actually not specify. Like you specify the memory values to strings, structures, and arrays. Are the three that types that are gonna ask you. String isn't primitive. In Solidity, it is perceived as an array. Yeah, actually it's an array of bytes. So it's because of that. Like actually string, the structure is very similar. It works as a string of bytes. I don't know if that answers the question. Yes. Okay, now we are gonna continue, and we are gonna, here, I'm gonna move actually to the mapping. Okay, so we have checked arrays before, and as we were seeing, here I have some deploy contracts. Now I'm gonna deploy the simple storage from before, just to check again. Here, simple storage, deploy. So here I was having the examples that if I was checking Alice, okay, I'm having like the number 6, and then and I could like add persons. For example, Bob, its name, okay, Bob 7. I could add the person, and after I could check the favorite number, for example, in 0. List of people, sorry. Bob, no, okay, 0. And I could see that Bob favorite number is 7. Here, actually in the array, as was explained in the previous lesson, like I'm giving the space, like I'm giving actually in the order in what it's stored, the favorite number. So I'm giving 0, I'm giving 1, I'm giving 2. But now, we are gonna have mapping. The difference of mapping is like it's a dictionary, okay? So, ignore that. Okay, it's like a dictionary. So what I'm gonna give, it's a key. And with that key value, I'm gonna search actually for what it's pointing and the value and the arguments that it's storing linked to that key. The key could be a string, a name, an address, and it's used to find like information, for example, in this case, attached to a person to know the favorite number. So here, if you can see, we had the array, it was the same, and now we are checking the mapping. Just as a comment, as you can see here, it's in red, but if I'm trying to compile lessons to mapping, it's allowed. I'm not getting any error. So this red, it's only for the code editor, that it's marking like that, it's not an error. So here we have the mapping, and as you can see, I have defined my mapping as a string that it's pointing an unsigned integer, okay? And I'm calling it, I'm declaring public, and I'm declaring like my favorite number map, or list, etc. This could be also like, for example, if it will be a contract, it's very common actually to use addresses. So it will be the same, it will be mapping, it will be an address pointing to a number, and here it will just declare it as address, using the address as an identifier of the person to know its favorite number in this case. Here is the same function that we were using to store and retrieve. And here actually what I have we have added is here, that we are using a map to actually retrieve what is the Fermi number of a name. Because remember that we have declared our mapping that I'm introducing a string and it's gonna give me an integer, unsigned integer. So here I use my favorite number map, that it was declared the number as public. I'm giving it the name, that the name is one of the arguments given to the function, and it's gonna give me actually like the favorite number. I compile. Here after I can go to deploy simple storage mapping. I deploy it. Just one moment because I'm gonna delete the previous ones. I deploy it. And here actually I can see that here I have like, if I want to retrieve, I don't have anything because I have introduced nothing. So I will need, well, that was before. Here I have my favorite number map. Here I have my favorite number map. I can ask it for Bob. 0, because actually we don't have anything. And now, my favorite number, okay, add person, Bob, 7. I add the person. Okay, sorry, I'm using the 2, Bob, 7. Here I have used the function add person 2. I have introduced the arguments, that it's a string, Bob, and unsigned integer, it's 7. And now if I'm asking for Bob, address 222, add person 2, no, sorry. Why it's not giving me? My favorite add person 2, just one moment. Here it's the, it doesn't want now. Oh, just one moment, sorry.
No, it's the time. All right. Don't hesitate if you have any
No,
question.
sorry, what's the door? Okay, yeah. So
No,
here when,
all good. Take your time.
yeah, sorry, here. So here it's Bob, here it's 7. And when I want to transact, I'm giving the information, okay? I don't have the retrieve favorite number name, my favorite number map, my favorite number map. Why it's not storing it properly? Retrieve. Weird. Maybe in the comments, because before was working. Store, a person, list of
Actually, say
people,
something.
Bob, address, my favorite number. At person, I'm giving Bob, I'm giving favorite number, and my favorite number map. Okay,
Actually,
because I'm not retrieving it in any way. I'm just assigning it the map. So here, for example, in add person 2, I have like my favorite number. I'm giving it Bob, but probably it's not properly saved before add person 2.
Hey, I think
Okay.
because you override name with cat, so it stores with cat.
Actually, no, it's because here I'm declaring my favorite number.
No, in its person to function.
Okay.
Person
function.
Can you come to add person to?
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
It's true. Thank you very much. Add person 2 now. So before actually executing add person 2, one moment, I have too many things open. Store add person 2. I'm not gonna execute it, but for example, yeah, I was executing to Bob's. Okay, Bob, 7, transact, parameters on, it's gonna So now I'm giving Bob. Okay, it was not that retrieve.
No reason, that's
No.
fine.
Okay,
But
it's
good.
all good. Yeah, I'm gonna process, but here actually see that I'm giving the Bob 7 and my favorite like the code input. It should be in the logs.
We are always
Storage.
upset by bug.
Yeah, I mean it was just working before I tested everything. So maybe I can redeploy.
It's frustrating.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't redeploy it, so it was still asking for cat.
Mm.
Okay, that's one of the difference. So I removed like cat, but I was not compiled. So I will have to recompile, deploy again. And now when I have here Bob 7, now I should have actually string favorite number with 7 decoded input. If I check Bob, that's different. My favorite number string Bob, it's 7. Okay, that's working. Okay, what was the problem just before? As someone actually helped me a lot, I was overwriting the name for cat. So when I was trying to look for Bob, actually it was giving me the default number for an empty map. The default number for an empty map is 0. So if I'm giving a key that doesn't exist, it's gonna give me always 0. Okay, so what was happening, it was overwriting the name and the argument of the name as cat, so Bob was never existing. After I changed the code here, but I forgot actually to recompile, okay, and deploy again. So what happens then? It happens that I was doing the same. Like even though I changed my code here, like in the code editor, the contract that I was calling, it was the previous one. So always when you change something, you have to don't do as me. You have to remind that you have to compile the code again and deploy it. If not, what you are using was the previous contract. Okay, so
A
now we
little
can continue.
detail. Just a little detail.
Yes,
Yeah, that changes everything.
that's a detail that changes everything, and sometimes you are just like in why it's not working, blocked, and it's not a work. What was happening? For example, now I have Bob. If now I give cat, it's giving me 0. Okay, again, like if you are giving a key that doesn't exist, the default value is gonna return you is 0. Okay, and that's the mapping. Now we are gonna continue, and actually we are gonna deploy the storage factory. That's actually the contract we have been working. It's the end of the lesson 1. Section 1, and actually now we were compiling here the code, and we were also getting like a remix, okay, like the contract deployed locally. We have never pushed actually this code to the blockchain. If we want to deploy it actually using remix, what we will do is inject the provider that will be the MetaMask. Here I have the MetaMask installed with the wallet, and it's a test wallet I use with Sepolia. Sepolia, it's a network, it's a test net. There is different test nets for different networks, but Sepolia is a test net where actually it's like free, like it's non-real tokens, not real gas money. So you can have Sepolia ETH and try for free to deploy. And now I will choose like injected provider. As you can see here, it's the account. It will be the same account, 9B, the same account as in my MetaMask. Here is estimated gas or custom, and actually will deploy. I don't know if you can see it because I have like,
Yes, we
can you
can.
see? Perfect. So look at here, actually you have a lot of data. This data is the machine code of all our contract that is gonna get deployed to the Sepolia network. I confirm, and in the MetaMask pop-up, I can see that the contract deployment is pending. I'm just gonna wait a moment, and I'm gonna select to see it in the SR scan is gonna get processed, and also we are waiting. So in SR scan is get indexed. Here we can see also like some information like where it's getting called, that it's my wallet, and the contract creation that once it's processed here. And now we have the contract. As we can see, the contract has been deployed in the blockchain in Sepolia network, and here it's the contract address. If I go back to Remix, now I can see that here in my I don't want here. You cannot see it properly, but I need a mouse actually, but yeah. Okay, here actually it's giving me the address where it has been deployed the contract. I have here 0xe, and when I go to SR scan, it's the same number. So now, for example, if I want to interact, now I want to add cat, finally. Sorry, I'm gonna use that, cat, and the ferry number is gonna get 8. I'm gonna click on it, and actually, MetaMask is gonna get open, and it's gonna ask me to confirm the transaction. Here, then now we have less data. I can see different things like the network fee. Again, like I'm writing some information in the blockchain, so it has some gas cost I have to pay. In this case, with Sepolia is. And well, some other information like the function, add person2, the parameter cat, and the number 8. Okay, I confirm the transaction. Here again, I can check it, I can view in the Block Explorer, and when it's actually processed, I will be capable to see it indexed in the SR scan. I go back, and now if I want like my favorite number and I give cat, here I can see that it's giving a call, and actually it's calling the address of the simple storage. And here I have my 8, so it has been indexed properly. And that will be how to deploy from Remix, actually a contract in Sepolia, that is the testnet. Once we have that, now we are gonna process for the section 2, that actually I have it here. We are using simple storage, that is just but we are gonna go just in case, okay?
So the section 2 is on ciphering. It's another section, like
Exactly. And actually what we could do, because I have it prepared, we could do the
well
quiz.
organized.
Yes. We could do, here it was the section 1, okay, from the 101, Solidity 101. And actually we could do the quiz. That was the quiz from the previous part you did yesterday. And we could do that. I have not done it, the second quiz. Okay, I do recommend it. Once you go through, do the quiz. We can try, get started. And you are gonna get some questions actually from the theory we have done. So for example, which of these is not a valid solidity type? I'm just giving like 5 seconds, 5, 4.
They reply on the chat.
Yes, float, exactly. Okay, float, check answer, it's correct. Just text in the chat. Okay, what is the struct keyboard used for? To define an array, to declare a variable to be a storage, to establish a new data type that groups multiple variables, or to create a code runs before after function. Third, yes. Perfect. Which of the following is located for storage that is not temporary? 5, 4, storage, exactly. In Solidity, which of the following functions visibility specifiers allows a function to call internally with a contract and externally by users or another contract? That's difficult. Okay, exactly, public. Why can the storage location be used for the new variables inside of a function of solidity? Someone says A, and it's B. Why can the storage location be used for new variables inside of function solidity? Because storage variables are automatically initialized to 0. That's not true. It depends on the type. Okay. For example, a map. Okay, that we are giving a key that doesn't exist. Okay, it's 0. But for example, if we are giving a boolean, it's going to be false. If it's a string, it's going to be an empty string. So actually the storage variables automatically select to 0. No, it depends on the type, if I'm not wrong. Because the storage variables are reserved for constant only? No. Because storage variables can only be used for external functions parameters? No, we can check that we have done it in public. And because storage variables are meant to persist between functions calls and are only declared at the contract level? Yes, because at the end is what is going to be written in the contract. And then you are going to be capable to read it after. While memory or call data, you are just going to use it in that function, and after it's going to get deleted. It's going to never exist. Okay? Given the following mapping address to you in 2056, what is the default value returned when accessing a key that does not exist? Five, 0. Yes. I mean, perfect. What is the purpose of BU key, keyword, and declaring the function of solidity? Okay, actually that's good because we have seen that also we have public, we have BU. So BU actually it's gonna tell you that it's only a readable. In the case the function only reads the state data and does not modify it. Perfect, and we are finishing. Which of the following code snippets is a valid way to declare public function that accepts UN value? Oh, which of the following code snippets is a valid way to declare a public function that accepts a UN27 parameter and sets value? Okay, function, store. Okay, that's the name of the function. It has an argument for being number. That's weird. Function store public for a favorite number, favorite number, function store UID. It's all the same, or it's me? Okay, store functionally, no. Okay, here it has the public.
Public world.
Here public.
Yeah.
And it is where the public actually is. The P. Store public, no. No, actually, okay, we are gonna get through because I see different answers, okay? So if you check here, it's like you're declaring that it's a function. After you are declaring the name of the function, store, you are declaring the arguments, and here is starting the function directly. The problem is that we have to declare what type of function is it, if it's public, if it's internal, if it's BU, okay? So A would not be. We go, actually, I'm seeing C and D also. So here we have function store public. The problem here is like I'm telling that the function is public while the function is store. So that makes no sense at all. And now between C and D, you have function, you have store, that is the name of the function. You are declaring the arguments. You are telling that it's public. And after you put like the body of the function. Here, okay, and here actually you are in the C, it's just a detail, okay? It's what is the argument and what is the variable in our contract. Okay, the variable in our contract, it was favorite number. So what you are doing in C is that you are taking the argument and you are assigning to the value in the contract, what we don't know yet, if it's initialized as 0. While in D, as now everybody has said, what you have is that you have favorite number. That favorite number was, if I go to simple storage, here you have a store, you have the value that we have declared in the contract as my favorite number, okay? And then you are assigning to my favorite number variable the argument value, okay? So then it will be D, okay? Just as explaining, and what keyword can be used in a function declaration to specify that the function can only be accessed from within the same contract. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yes. I checked. It's private. Okay. Internal. Okay. Now let's explain. Okay, because I have see. Okay. External. It can only be accessed outside. Public, inside, and outside. Private can only be. Keyword can be used in function declaration to specify the function can only be accessed from within the same contract. What's the difference between internal and private? Now we are gonna see it in the storage factory, okay? The difference is that private, it's only from the same contract. Internal, it's from another function, okay? So internal, it's something that you cannot call. So we were seeing here in the deployment that we have different and we were access. So internal will be something that it's called from another function, but that function can be from another contract. Okay, so it's something that a person cannot call. It's something that another function is being called, while private, it's only from the same contract. Okay, now we are going to explain it better. Okay, private only is the same contract and internal to another function. Okay, now it's going to make more sense when we do exactly, can be used from other contracts. Now when we explain storage factory, that is the second part of the class, that it's going to actually make sense. Okay? I know it's a lot of information. Stop me because I'm speaking pretty fast. Okay,
That's
I
fine.
have prepared. Huh?
Looks fine.
Looks fine. Okay. So we are gonna go to the storage factory. Again, in the GitHub, you have all the information. It's gonna be section 2, and you can check, actually, you can get the code from it also. Or go through the courses, that is what I recommend, and type in manually. So, just a recap, you have simple storage. Simple storage is the contract we have written before, and everything is the same, okay? It does not change much. But what happens? Now we have deployed simple storage manually, but what you can also do is deploy a contract from another contract, okay? So here you have storage factory. I have commented everything. And as you can see, you have the license, you have the Pragma Solidity, and now we want to actually deploy simple storage from a storage factory. Therefore, it's a factory, okay? So what we are gonna do is, like, for example, we are gonna say simple storage, it's public, okay, simpler storage. What's the problem? I'm having an error. If I want to deploy, it's not gonna allow me. Why we are having this error? We are having this error because Storage Factory does not know what simple storage is. Okay, as you check, also it's case sensitive, so simple storage is not the same as simple storage with capital letter at the beginning. What we could do, we could just go to simple storage, and copy the contract. And now I have the contract simple storage declared here in the same file, and it's also detecting that it exists. What's the problem? Imagine that you are working with a lot of contracts, especially if it's a DeFi application, it's gonna get really, really, really long lines of code. Okay, so that's not a good practice. I'm gonna delete it. I don't know what I have done. Just one moment. Okay, and actually we could export the file. So we could import simple storage file because it's here in the same folder. And what it will do, the problem is that if I do this, it will be importing all the contracts in simple storage.sol. So simple storage contract, it will be also importing simple storage 2, simple storage 3, simple storage 4. Okay, that's a problem, because the problem is once I'm gonna deploy this, it's gonna deploy everything in storage factory and everything that it's imported. That it's gonna increase the gas cost. What we should do, actually, it's just import the contract we want to use. So calling simple storage from the simple storage file. Any doubt with that? Exactly. And now we are gonna go to the child and inheritance, because I'm seeing like in the chat you are discussing that. Actually, that is the last part. So here I have the storage factory that it's simple storage. It's just creating. If I want to compile this, it's gonna compile fine. If I wanted to deploy, actually, and now I go here and I want to deploy it. And if you can see, I have a storage factory. Well, it's doing nothing so far. Why? Because we are not creating any new one, okay? Perfect. Yeah. Now, actually, what is gonna happen is that we are gonna create an array of simple storage, because what it's happening here, okay, okay, here, step by step, here I declare simple storage from simple storage, and I have this function, okay, that ignore this line, that what it's gonna do is create a new contract. Okay, I declare the variable, okay, simple storage, it's a public simple storage. That is the name of the variable, that's what importing. And now what I'm doing is that simple storage, it's the type, the contract we are importing, it's a simple storage contract variable, and we are deploying a new simple storage. If now I compile, and well, I'm having like a warning, but again, like with the warning, it's allowing me to compile and it's allowing me to deploy. Here I can call create simple storage, and when why is not again? Well, the problem here is because this is not an array. It's gonna overwrite that value, and we are gonna lose track of actually all the simple storage the factory has deployed. How we fix this? Actually, we use an array, okay? And this array actually, oh wait, okay, that was not working because here was, so actually we create an array that is list of simple storage contracts, and it's an array of simple storage. Here we call again simple storage, it's simple storage contract value, and we create a new simple storage. And after with push, we add a value to the list of simple storage array. Compile, deploy, and now create simple storage. And when I give the first, we have an address. Create simple storage, and I give like the second position of the array, that it's 1. And if we can see that changes, we have created 2. If I give the third position of the array, nothing. It does not change because it does not exist. Okay? And here it says like transaction has been reported. Why? Because that doesn't exist. Now if I create it, now it's gonna exist, and now we have it. Now we are gonna continue, okay? Because, okay, we are creating simple storage contracts, but if I go back to the simple, artifacts, no, I don't want. Well, if I go back to the simple storage, we had several functions. Okay, we have store and we have retrieve, and add person. Okay, how can we interact actually with that functions from our factory? To interact with our functions, actually what we use is the address, okay? What we were seeing here in the deployed, here is the address of the contract. So we need the address of the contract we are gonna interact with, and we need the IBI. Okay, here in Remix, it handles the IBI by its own, so you don't have to worry. And you can practice that in the future, but actually here, if I go to the compile, now I'm gonna get lost, I'm sure. You have the storage factory, and you have compilation details. Here you have the ABI, for example. Okay, you have the compilation details, and you have the ABI. You can copy it here. And if I see the metadata, bytecode, ABI, actually it's here. That actually it's the description of the contract. So it's what it's gonna use later to understand what the contract has, what functions, what variables. Right now, Remix is handling this for you, so you don't have to worry. I'll go back to Storage Factory. Sorry, I cannot, I close this. I go back to Storage Factory, okay? And knowing that the ABI is being handled for Remix, what I'm gonna do is declare some functions. I'm gonna describe now. And what it's doing actually is that, okay, software factory, so SF, software factory store, it has two variables, like the storage index and the number. And again, like it's a public, we need the address, we need the IBI, and the IBI, it's this description that we have just checked in the compilation details. So it's gonna map the list. Remember that it's how you were calling a map. So what it's gonna do is like a list of simple storage contract, simple storage index. Okay, the simple storage index, it's the array here. And it's gonna look in the store function. As you see, this store function is the name we have here in the simple storage. And it's gonna give the number. And the number is actually the, in this case, if I check simple storage, it's getting the February number, okay? So that number, actually, it's the argument it's gonna send to store. The same for get, we are gonna use retrieve, okay? So now I will do the same, compile storage factory. I remove the old ones, I deploy it, and now as you can see, I have a store and I have also the list of simples. I have to create a simple storage because I have just redeployed it, so it's not gonna remember the previous ones. If I check my list, I know I have one address. Okay, and now I want to store, and to store what I have to do, I have to give it a number. Okay, the February number, 8. It's a write function, and now I want, it's an array, using simple storage index. The simple storage index, it's a uint. It's a uint, simple, it's a uint, public, simple storage, it's an address, simple average index, retrieve. What is retrieving? I check here, simple storage, and retrieve, public view returns a uint of my favorite number. Okay, well, I'm not gonna lose get simple storage index. Where is the simple storage index? Simple storage factory, simple storage index is uint, and simple storage index is the simple storage number. that in this case, the simple storage number when, okay, here, when I declare, actually I just give a number, but I forgot from the other argument. Okay, so here I will have to say 0, 0, well, 0, I'm gonna 7, 9, store, and now it's 7, 9. Here it was the storage number, and the index will be 7, and it should give me 9. Well, okay, again, compile factory, deploy, storage factory. I have to give two uints, 9 and 9. Okay, declare store 9, 9. Okay, it's just in error because it's not getting deployed. I'm going too fast. But it's just like I have,
I think you first need to create simple storage like 9 times or 10.
Oh, true. Yes.
10
No way
times.
I'm doing that. I'm gonna do 0, 9, transact, list of simple storage, 0, call. I'm getting the first one. If I'm giving it 2, it does not change. It's giving me an error because it's not. And now if I give 0, call, I have the 9. Now, yes. Okay. And now what we were talking just before about inheriting. So now what we have achieved is that I have a storage factory that can deploy another contract. So storage factory is a contract that can deploy another contract and interact with the functions from the other contract. Okay, but now imagine that, okay, I lost simple storage, but I want to modify something. Like I'm not, for example, here with store, I will want to store everything plus 3 or 4. Okay, what I could do, I could copy paste, deploy a new contract from 0 and use the other contract I have deployed, or I could use inheritance. Okay, here I have like add 5 storage that is simple storage. Again, if I don't import simple storage, my contract doesn't know what simple storage is, so I have to import it. And once I import it, it knows what simple storage is, and it inherits everything inside of the contract. So now I have this contract, as you can see, everything is commented. So if I want to compile it, and I want to deploy it, I have everything that the simple storage contract would have. Why? Because it's inheriting, it's a child from simple storage. It's inheriting all the information. And before it was a question about private or internal. Okay, so this is another contract that it's inherited from simple storage, but internal functions will still work while privates won't, if I'm not wrong. Okay, I'm always scared saying something makes no sense, but so what we are gonna do now, we have the function store, okay, and we are gonna override the function. So we declare the same arguments, same variables. So we are gonna compile. Oh, what's happened? Okay, what is happening? Actually, it's asking me that we have forget virtual, and when I click, compare. When I click to the when I click to the error, it gives me to here, and actually, it's just a detail. Is that for a function to be capable to be overwritten, it needs to be declared as virtual. So now, when I go to add 5, okay, here was the error that it's non-virtual function and it's not virtual, so we can overwrite it. I compile and now it's working. Okay, and it will be the same. So when I here I deploy 5 storage. It's my new 5 storage. So when I add a person, Bob 7, and I give Bob, it's giving me 7, yeah, and the store, okay, and the store I'm giving it 7 again, and list of people, it's a 0, name Bob 7, retrieve 12. As you can say, it's 7 plus 5 when I'm doing the retrieve. Because in the store, it has automatically done that. Okay, what I'm gonna check the questions internal. Okay, what is doing Remix for use for us for ABI? How would it be different we weren't using Remix? Okay, that's a really good question. Don't worry for now, just focus on Remix. But what would you do is like here, is as you can see, when I'm compiling it, it's creating like a lot of folders with the information of the compile and the deployment. So as you can see, here I have like the storage factory JSON, that it's actually when you are using your own code editor, Visual Studio, whatever you are using, you will add this .json document that it's actually the ABI, that it will contain the ABI. Here you can see, for example, ABI encoded tuple. So what it's doing, Remix, is just generating all that files for you automatically. So it handles everything in the back and you don't have to worry. If not, the ABI is introduced actually in your code editor as a JSON file.
Probably you can show how like on a scan probably the contract and how usually you can get the ABI too.
Yeah, I can go here to any, I'm gonna take just one randomly, one lesson randomly. Foundry, I don't know, Foundry RC 20. I just want to go to a git code. Okay, I'm going to a GitHub. Okay, so if you can see, but that usually is not pushed. Deploy the Sol, library, GitHub, test. No, because the ABI is something you should not push. JSON, just because it's like random data. Now I don't know if I have in my machine anything. Your file, just another one. Bodyguard, just sometimes.
You
There
can
is
see the
something.
palmarès of Raquel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, but if you say I want to, okay. Now I cannot, but because I don't know, it's making it so difficult. I just want to go to a GitHub repo, GitHub. Yeah. But I don't know if it's gonna be pushed because it's something actually you don't push much because, but I have like bad habits, so could be possible. So you have packages. You have the that's front end. So forget components, hooks. Okay, that's not a good example. I don't have contracts here.
All good, alright. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to repos.
Yesterday I sent the ABI Ninja. Whenever you want to get an ABI from a contract too.
Hard hat. Here. So hard hat is just like a framework to deploy smart contracts. Don't worry about that for now. You will see it very soon. But actually, seeing that we are using Foundry, right? Solen.
Yes, it's Foundry.
So it's similar to Foundry, okay? But here, as you can see, that it's for my contracts. Here I will have the contracts like test rc20.sol, And here I will have the ABI.json that actually is just like the information for my RC20 contract. And when I'm working with it, I will just like, it will need like the ABI, that's all.
So if someone wants to interact the contract with our contract, do they need to add our contract's ABI JSON?
Yes, but actually like the ABI JSON, it's something you can like here, when I go to Etherscan, like Remix is really like processing everything, so it's very nice. But for example, when I go to Etherscan, that it's where the contract was deployed, I can go here to contract, and you could decompile bytecode. So like the ABI information is used like the ABI information.json. It's actually the contract information here. So I have events, token transfer C20, transactions. Let me see a transaction, more details. Here, as you can see, that it's ABI. Actually, it's not true that you need the ABI because you could only get parts. So what you need is actually, you need to know the function structure. So you could say like you are going to interact with that person too, and actually giving this information, it will be enough. So for the transaction, because the thing is like you are sending a transaction to the blockchain, could be read or could be store or a write or a read transaction. So the thing is like you need to know what is the structure of the function you are going to read or write. Okay, so the ABI is giving you that information. What it's giving you is that at person2, it has one argument that its value, it's a name, and another argument that it's for read number. So it's the arguments you have to send in the transaction to the contract. So that is the information, it's in the ABI.
Okay, so if we know this, so we don't need to add ABI JSON to our.
You could have it, but only partially. And actually, that's something that when you go through the course, it mentions that actually it's not true that you need the whole ABI. You could only have actually the, let me go here. You could only have the metadata.json. You could have only something like that, here ABI. And for example, if you think that I'm only going to interact with create simple storage contract, and I'm not going to use any of the others, you could only introduce this part in the ABI. I don't know if that answers the question. For example, if I'm going to never use SF store, I could not include it. Okay? The thing is like you have to translate to the transaction because you are going to send some information in a transaction, and you need to know what you are writing and what you are reading and what are the arguments. So you need to have the structure of the transaction, because that is what the compiler is going to use to build your transaction. Remember that after is going to be compiling to bytecode, and it needs to know the structure of what you are sending to the machine. The ABI does that function for you. The thing is like you could add it like comprehensive, like everything, or you could only add actually functions you are going to interact with. But that it's too much detail, you should not worry for now. It's like Remix is handling, and when you go through the project, you are going to see. And the ABI many times is going to be generated for you for the different frameworks. It's not something you are going to need to write manually at all. Any other questions?
Everyone is super curious.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I still have the other quiz if people it's still with energy. Um, yeah, the simple storage quiz. I have not done them. So if people want, we can do it. If not, you can go through section one, you can finish section one, you can finish section two, and then you do the quiz.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's a really good exercise just to think about again. And if you click something is not right, then you can go to any AI tool, like in the course. This is good. Yeah, yeah, that's good because I'm the first one that I'm making a lot of mistakes. Always, I'm a little bit dispersed, and actually going through the debugging, testing, and and a lot of repetition. It's actually when you are gonna get with the concept stick in your mind. So not just watch the videos or just after go through and code it, test things just for curiosity, as before. That, for example, now you have like inheritance. I'm a little bit artifacts. Here you have like inheritance. So you could, for example, test what we were talking before about private and internal functions. Okay, so you can try to modify and play a little bit with it and see how actually it behaves. And here also, okay, no, that's not, I don't know where it ended, but here also you have like all the different documentation. You can check and you have all the code to check. And also like you have like different recommendation as AI tools you can use to learn and educate. That for me, I not a super fan of vibe coding, but yes, like when you have any question or error, ask ChatGPT to explain it, or when you see a code and you are not capable to comprehend it, just copy paste the code and ask what the code is doing. So it explains you step by step what it's doing. Where is it?
But by the way, at the end of Cyphin, when you have completed a few courses, the thing is you can pass a certification, and so this certification is well renowned into the ecosystem. So if you are looking for a job as a full stack Web3 smart contract developer, sorry, it's useful, really useful.
Yes, and at the end of every section, there is also a challenge that you are gonna be minting an NFT too, and it's gonna get in your wallet once you set up your MetaMask, etc. I don't know if that is the same certification you were mentioning, Solen.
No, it's another one because the other one it's you have to pay $100.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
no,
And it's kinda complicated. So you really have to train yourself before, but it's covering really what is in the Cypher draft courses. It's like a quiz, some quiz, but
perfect,
you have to put input. So be careful about it.
nice, nice. I don't know if there is any other question, so how we can help you?
I think you are super pedagogue. In French, we say that pedagogue,
Yeah, yeah,
pedagogue.
Spanish is similar, like pedagogica. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I try to make it a little bit dynamic because if
Yeah.
not, it's very tough.
Yeah, it's well like structure in terms of steps, and even you're going through how to debug stuff. So it's something really useful because when you vibe coding, not vibe coding like you live coding, sometimes that's happen, and so yes,
Yes,
good.
and also you see, I make mistakes. I I'm always not like seeing the details. You girls and boys like were helping me because before like it was cat. I was not seeing that cat was being over right there. You told me so. Don't get frustrated. It's just like sometimes you don't see the mistake, but it's part of the process.
Yeah. Nice. So please go through ciphering. Um, take your time. I think you need like 1 hour practice by day, and during this week, and we will see again Raquel on Thursday, right?
Yes.
All right. Tomorrow we're gonna deep dive into a record part, so it's something clearly something to master. for building application. So yeah, Voila will take care of that because she is working on this file. So feel free to prepare your question, by the way, regarding this topic. And yeah, it's more about if you are like if you like on-chain data stuff, that can be interesting for you. All right.
Okay.
Thanks again,
Thank you,
Raquel,
everyone.
for everything, and see you on Thursday. Then,
See you.
yes, tschüss.
Ciao, ciao.